Hey, Falcons Nation, stop what you're doing right now. Because what I'm about to tell you is not something the mainstream media is talking about the way it deserves to be talked about. We're sitting here in 2026, and there's a running back on this roster, a generational talent, Falcons Nation, who just posted the kind of season that makes defensive coordinators wake up in a cold sweat at 3 in the morning. We're talking about the man who led the entire NFL in scrimmage yards last season. Not the AFC. Not the NFC. The whole league. And now there's a new head coach in Flowery Branch who has been around the best ball carriers in the history of this game. And when he looks at this guy, he doesn't hesitate. He just says, I know what I have. But that's only story number one. Because we also have a rookie whose name you will be screaming from the stands at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the next decade. And he just got the highest possible cosign from one of the most legendary Falcons to ever wear that helmet. And then, the defensive numbers. Numbers that prove this team isn't just building for a good season. They're building something that looks like a dynasty. You stay right here. By the end of this video, you'll be more fired up about the 2026 Falcons than you've been in years. If you are serious about being a real dirty bird, subscribe now and hit that notification bell. Because we drop this heat every week, and you cannot afford to miss what's coming. Let me set the scene for you. IT is mandatory minicamp at Flowery Branch. The new head coach, Kevin Stefanski, is standing on the sideline watching his running back move through drills. And what does Stefanski say about him? The physical skill set is obvious off the tape, and that's something you see out there on the grass. Somebody that can affect the game in a multitude of ways. Falcons Nation, that is your new head coach. A man who has coached Adrian Peterson, the man who rushed for 2,097 yards in a single season and came back from a torn ACL like it was a paper cut. Describing your running back with that kind of language, that is not a coincidence. That is not just coach speak. That man knows talent. And he is telling you point blank, Bijan Robinson is a problem. Now let's talk numbers. Because this is where things get ridiculous. Bijan Robinson, through 3 NFL seasons, has rushed for 3,910 yards and 25 rushing touchdowns. In 2025 alone, his third year, he was one of only 4 running backs in the entire NFL to eclipse 1,400 rushing yards. 4 out of 32 teams. Out of hundreds of running backs who suit up every single Sunday. But rushing yards? That's not even the whole story. Out of the backfield, receiving, Bijan Robinson has 198 receptions for 1,738 yards and 9 touchdowns. 198 receptions. That is not a running back number, Falcons Nation. That is a slot receiver number wearing a running back jersey. In 2025 specifically, he was second in the entire NFL in receiving yards for running backs, 820 yards, trailing only Christian McCaffrey. And now you put it all together, rushing and receiving, and you get the jaw-dropping number, 2,298 scrimmage yards in 2025. League leading. The most of any player at any position in the entire NFL. Let that sink in, while everyone was arguing about wide receivers and tight ends and quarterbacks. Bijan Robinson was quietly putting together the most productive scrimmage yard season in the league. And he did it in 17 games. Consistent. Dominant. Unstoppable. Now here's what makes this even more dangerous heading into 2026. Kevin Stefanski is not going to use Bijan the way the previous staff used him. Stefanski, with offensive coordinator Tommy Rees calling the plays, is going to weaponize him. They're going to put him in positions where defenders have no answer. Stefanski himself said it perfectly. Whether it's in the run game or the pass game to create mismatches to get in the end zone, that's what we'll do. And it's not just in the run game. The ability to catch the ball out of the backfield is something we're looking to do with our guys because when defenses load up to stop one thing, they have to pivot. Mismatches. That is the word. That is the system. When you line up Bijan Robinson against a linebacker in coverage, that linebacker has no chance. 0. When you send him out of the backfield on a wheel route against a safety, game over. And Kevin Stefanski, the man who helped design some of the most creative offensive systems in the AFC, is going to make sure every defense in the NFC South, every defense in this entire league, has to account for Bijan Robinson on every single snap, and it doesn't stop there. Because Atlanta also added Brian Robinson Jr. to the backfield this offseason. Now you've got two Robinsons, different last names, same last name energy when they hit you, bringing 2,729 rushing yards, 17 touchdowns, 73 receptions, and 612 receiving yards to the table alongside Bijan. Stefanski's vision is clear. He is building a ground game so versatile, so dynamic, so lethal that opposing defenses won't even know which Robinson to game plan for first. And Tommy Rees is going to have the creative freedom to call plays that maximize both of them. Falcons Nation, the running back room in 2026? It is not a position group. It is a weapon system. Now, I need you to understand something about what I'm about to tell you. When a legend speaks, and I mean a real legend, a man who spent 14 years in this league, all of them in a Falcons jersey. A man who led the NFL in tackles 4 times. A man with nearly 2,000 career tackles and a spot in the Falcons Ring of Honor. When that man watches a rookie work out and says, "I like him a lot," you pay attention. That man is Jesse Tuggle. And that rookie is Harold Perkins Jr. Now, let me tell you Harold Perkins Jr.'s story. Because this is one of the most fascinating draft stories of the 2026 NFL Draft. Harold Perkins was supposed to be a first-round pick. Everyone in the scouting community knew it. The man was considered positionless, and in today's NFL, when scouts call a defender positionless, that is the highest compliment you can give. He could play inside linebacker, outside linebacker, edge rusher, even safety. He was everywhere on the field. Disruptive, fast, football IQ off the charts, and then the injury. A torn right ACL in 2024. Suddenly the first-round grade dropped. The question marks appeared. And on draft day 2026, Harold Perkins Jr., a 3-time All-SEC selection, slid all the way to the 6th round. Pick 215. The Atlanta Falcons took him, and Falcons Nation? That might be the steal of this entire draft, and here's why. Perkins came back. He returned from that ACL tear and made All-SEC for the 3rd time in his college career. 3 times All-SEC. And then he showed up to his pro day at LSU and ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. A 4.38. While recovering from a torn ACL, that is not a man who is broken. That is a man who is motivated, and Jesse Tuggle, again, 14 years in this league, nearly 2,000 tackles, 4-time tackling leader, looked at Harold Perkins Jr. and said, "I like Perkins a lot. I think that's a great pick, super athletic." Mentally, I talked with him. He wants it. We talked about the love for the game. He has the love for the game. But not only does he have the love for it, he has the talent for it. And he has the speed. The love for the game and the talent and the speed. From a man who embodies all 3 of those things in his own legacy. That is not a casual compliment. That is a prophecy, and the Falcons need Perkins to step up. Because they lost Caden Ellis this offseason, he walked back to the New Orleans Saints, and Atlanta needs linebacker depth and production. Perkins is being plugged in immediately to help fill that void. Now let me give you the defensive context, because this defense is building towards something real. Last season, the Falcons finished 15th in total defense. Not elite, but improving. 2 years ago, they were 22nd. They climbed 7 spots in 1 year under defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich. And now heading into 2026, this defense has James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker as the bookend pass rushers, and Falcons Nation, we know what those 2 are capable of. Last year, this team set the franchise sack record. 57 sacks. Second in the entire NFL. Jesse Tuggle himself said what we're all feeling. We brought in young, talented outside pass rushers. And they're going to be here for the next hopefully 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years, Falcons Nation, the secondary? A.J. Terrell and Jesse Bates leading the way. 13th in pass defense last season. And now with Perkins, a sideline-to-sideline missile, patrolling the middle, with Divine Deablo wearing the green and running the defensive communication, this unit is about to take another step forward. The run defense was 24th last year. That is the one number that needs to improve. And Harold Perkins Jr., with his speed, his instincts, his ability to play everywhere, is exactly the kind of player who makes that number move. Falcons Nation, I'm telling you, the kid who was a first-round talent that fell into our lap in the 6th round, that might be the most important pick of this draft class. Years from now, when people look back at the 2026 Atlanta Falcons roster construction, they are going to point to pick 215 and say, that is where it started. So let me bring it all home for you, Dirty Birds. You've got an offense that is terrifying. Bijan Robinson, leading scrimmage yards, 2,298 in 2025, a dual threat that no linebacker or safety can handle, now operating in a Kevin Stefanski system designed to weaponize every single skill he has. Alongside Brian Robinson Jr., a proven backfield weapon who adds depth and explosiveness. With Tommy Rees calling creative plays. With Kyle Pitts and Drake London already locked in on new deals, this offense? It is not a question mark anymore. It is a statement, and on defense, you've got a unit that went from 22nd to 15th in total defense in 1 year. A franchise record 57 sacks last season. James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker coming for quarterbacks all year long. A.J. Terrell and Jesse Bates in the secondary. And now, Harold Perkins Jr., the 6th-round steal with first-round talent, a 4.38 speed, and a Falcons legend already co-signing him as the next great linebacker of this franchise. This is not a team in rebuilding mode, Falcons Nation. This is a team that is loading. A team that is putting the final pieces in place. A team that looks at the rest of the NFC South, looks at every team in this conference, and says, we are coming. The 2026 Atlanta Falcons are going to surprise people. They are going to make noise. They are going to be a problem for every defense and every offense they face this season, and you are here, Dirty Birds. You are locked in. You are part of this. If this video fired you up, and I know it did, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss a single update on this Falcons roster. We drop content every week, breaking down every move, every depth chart change, every storyline that matters for this team. Go Falcons!